So guys, welcome back to the channel. And first off, I do need to apologize for the shaky cam. My tripod recently broke just when I got these headphones. So I ordered another one. Takes a little bit of time because Father's Day is here and stuff like that. But right here we have the Soundpeats Air5 Pros. These headphones are actually very, very good. I do have the price tag on the screen in case anyone is wondering, and I'll have the link in the description. And we're going to just talk about a little bit about the specifications. Now, what you're seeing here is everything that it comes with. It does have its own books, as a matter of fact, inside of here. For anyone that is wondering that, the books are actually right here. And make sure you lift this lid up right here also. Lift this out because underneath, this is where all the other things that you see right here are going to be. And then we have the actual earbuds themselves, which look super nice in my opinion. This is a really, really clean look. And to be honest with you, I've always liked the Soundpeats design. And every time they come out with new headphones, it just kind of redefine their look. And I think that this is super professional. I know some people might not like this material right here, but I think it looks nice. It's unique. You don't necessarily want headphones that look like everybody else. They want to stand out, and I think they did a very good job of that. So you do have your reset button on the bottom, which we're going to use during the syncing process. Right here, you have the USB-C. Believe it or not, this does fast charge. So you can get 10 minutes will give you 2-hour charge. So while we're looking at the headset, I'm going to kind of talk to you guys about the specifications, but it does come with the little tips right here, small, large, and then you have the mediums already on the buds. You do have a small USB-C cable that you can see right here, but let me tilt that a little bit. There we go. But you can always use your regular USB-C for your iPhone if you're a 15 and up, or just a Android user. You've been using USB-C for like a million years. So if we're talking about specs real fast, these guys do have touch controls, which you have the option to turn them off in the actual settings itself. I'll have the what's it called? The specifications on this side over here where I'm pointing. 10 minutes of charge, provides 2 hours of battery playback when it comes to music. A little bit less for call quality in that regard, call limits. Water resistance is IPX5. 3,500 mAh for each battery, 520 for the case. Playtime is going to be 7.5 hours per bud right here. I'm sorry, I'm all outside the camera view. And you are going to get 37 hours total when you include the case itself, so more than a full day. You do have noise cancellation. You have adaptive noise cancellation, which is really good for if you're outside at different locations, it'll switch automatically for you. You have an outside noise cancellation. It's basically like 4 different features, settings for active noise cancellation, and we'll go over that in a little bit. You do have a normal mode, you have transparency mode. These do have LDAC. They're automatically in LDAC when you unbox them. As a matter of fact, they're version 5.4 Bluetooth. They support SBC, AAC, LC3, LDAC, aptX, adaptive, and aptX lossless codec. So they're not playing when they say they want to make sure that they cover all their bases. The chipset, for anyone that wants to know, is Qualcomm CQQ3091. And lastly, well, not lastly, but they have 10mm drivers, which are really powerful, by the way. In addition to that, you have a dedicated gaming mode, full-blooded customization, and you do have multipoint. Now, in order for that to work, I'm just going to let you guys know right now, the multipoint will work if you decide to go to the settings and turn the multipoint on. Otherwise, it's automatically on LDAC. Now, with that being said, let's get right into this review and talk about all the things that's really good about this headset, and I'm going to show you some really cool stuff. Here we go. So I'm going to show you guys how to sync this headset. There's 2 ways to do it. The first one is you open up the case. It should automatically put the buds in pairing mode. Because I used these already, it may not do that. And it's not a big deal. So I'll show you the secondary method just in case. Right here, we go to the settings. We're going to go ahead and go to Bluetooth. We're going to hit scan for you. Now, and as you can see, the headset did not pop up. That's okay. Don't worry about that. See this bottom on the button right here? If we hold this button for a few seconds, until it blinks white, it's going to put this in pairing mode again. And now you see that the Soundpeats Air5 Pro popped up. So all we do is tap it and we hit pair. Now, when you take them outside in a box and flip the case open, it's going to automatically put it in pairing mode. But worst case, don't forget, this is basically works as a reset button. You don't have to take the buds out of the case. Now, when it comes to multipoint, you're going to want to turn off whatever device you synced it to. Open this case back up. let it repair. If it doesn't do it on its own, then you do what I just showed you and you hold it till that button turns white again. Then you can pair it to the second device. Once that's done, see, it's back in pair mode. Once that's done, you can turn back the Bluetooth on your old one, and then both of those devices will switch between multipoint simultaneously, depending on which one is playing sound. So, and that's how you use multipoint. So follow these instructions, and you shouldn't have a problem. So there are a couple things that we need to address. There are two ways that these fit inside the ear. Let me explain. One is if you use them on normal mode. The other one is if you use it with ANC on. Let me explain both. If you're listening to music or you're just wearing these inside of your ears, you're not going to really feel any ear fatigue. Now, after a couple hours, about 4 hours of wearing them, I didn't really feel soreness, but I did feel a little ear fatigue where I took them out of my ears, placed them inside the case, left them out for about 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so. And when I received a phone call, I popped them back in and I was good to go. The maximum comfort for earbuds, in my opinion, are going to be clips or over the ears. These are in ears, so kind of keep that in mind. Now, here's the second part. Even though I said they feel good and I didn't really have any problems, no soreness, no ear aches per se, I did have some, not swelling, but a slight headache when I used the ANC. The ANC on this is very, very powerful. So my suggestion is to try the different ones out, whether it's traffic, outdoor, or indoor. There's different settings for the ANC. And try to switch it off of adaptive, because that'll actually switch based on if you're in the subway, if you're outside walking or jogging, and depending on how loud people are around you, the ANC is going to come on, it's going to come off, and that's where the pressure buildup is. But if you're just using it as is in one ear, you're at work, or you're using both ears, the ANC is solid, you have it on a regular setting that you're accustomed to, you'll be perfectly fine. If you're used to Soundpeats or Soundcores or, brands that are similar, because these are pretty similar in terms of fit and feel with the Soundcore brand type buds, you'll be fine. I like them. I use them on a regular basis every day since I got them. And to be honest with you, they replace a lot of my other headphones because it's just the quality of the sound in general. Naturally, when newer models come out, I'm always going to use the newer model, especially if it's sent to me, because I'm very fortunate to receive these things. But for the average person, I do think that overall, if you purchase this, you'll be happy with the fit and feel along with the other features that it offers. So right here, we're going to have the full customization for the Air5 Pros. As soon as you sign into the application, this is what you're going to get. Now, full warning for anyone wondering, make sure you do the software update when you first go into the application settings, because it does help with Bluetooth stability. I had an issue with connecting initially, but that took care of that problem immediately, so they're good to go. So let's go over the settings real fast first. Right here, let's give it a moment. It's fetching device settings. You have the device information, firmware upgrade. You can reset the buds from here. You have LE audio, LDAC. It automatically is on LDAC. Now, when you want to switch it over to multipoint, it is going to switch it out of LDAC because that's the only way it works with that setting. But with launch, LDAC is included. You have a fit test, a fine earbuds option, and you have it right here where you can actually change the language and you can change the prompt tone when you tap it to hear those actual tones. So if you don't like that, you can go ahead and turn that down and the voices will be lower. And over here, it does show you the battery life of the buds themselves and the case. The buds are about 100%. I would say the case is about 60% or so. So if you go through the application itself, it's not going to show you the numeral amount. But if you're an Android user and you go to settings, it'll actually tell you the percentage in the settings of the Bluetooth of how charged your earbuds are. So kind of keep that in mind. And I'm not too sure if Apple does that, but the Apple setting will let you know which Bluetooth device is currently connected. Now, when it comes to noise cancellation, you have adaptive noise cancellation, indoor noise cancellation, outdoor, and traffic. Adaptive changes based on the environment that you're in, but some people prefer your noise cancellation to stay the same all the time. That's where indoor, outdoor, and traffic mode comes in. And when it comes to outdoor noise cancellation, this is better for people that are jogging, running. You want to have less noises in the background. Please do be aware that people can walk up to you. You may not be able to hear footsteps. So safety first. You can always put it on normal mode or transparent mode, which is easier, so you can still hear regular conversations and footsteps and cars and beeping and honking and all that stuff. Always think of safety first. Gotta mention that in these videos. When you tap indoor, it'll actually switch over and the noise cancellation suction changes. So indoor is more so better if you're in an office building where you can still hear the voices happening around you, but things like copier machines and a bunch of noises coming from your computer are very, very subtle where you don't really hear it. Outdoor, we already talked about outdoor. Traffic, Traffic's not bad. I feel like the outdoor noise cancellation is a little bit stronger than traffic, but outdoor is better overall for blocking out most sounds completely outside. While adaptive noise cancellation basically fluctuates based on what it is that you're doing. So if I walk outside, the noise cancellation gets stronger because of the volume. If I go into my house, it'll lessen the pressure. I suggest to take it off adaptive because if you're not used to that form of pressure, these headphones can feel very, very uncomfortable to a lot of people in that regard. And then you can just go ahead and switch it over to normal mode and it relieves all of that pressure inside your ears. And as a matter of fact, your voice sounds a whole lot louder when you do that. I am actually testing it out as I speak. I already used the buds, but I'm just letting you guys know. You also have the option for transparency mode. So you can have voice enhancement where your voice sounds much, much sharper and the voices around you sound clearer, similar to normal mode, but it just lets in a lot more background noise with the earbuds in. If you do standard transparency mode, you pick up a lot of the noises in the background of everything happening around you. So if someone's on the phone with you, they will be able to hear your background a lot more clearly if that's what you want them to be. Well, I'm not what you want them to be, but if you want like that feature. Anyway, over here we have the double device connection feature, which is basically multipoint. I showed you guys how to sync it in multipoint, so follow that standard. But you have to tap this feature on in the settings first before you can even do that. With that being said, the quality will drop a little bit in terms of quality of sound. Still phenomenal headset in terms of music quality. We'll go over that in the next section. But the LDAC is automatically on as soon as you unbox these buds. They want to make sure that you get the best experience because not everyone uses multipoint. Great feature, but not everyone wants it. Sometimes they just use a phone and that's strictly it. And they use a headset for a PC or something else, or they may not use the headphones at all. But it is nice to have headphones with multipoint because it helps with the gaming experience and just music experience because these headphones are very, very good in terms of quality of sound. Which brings me to the next point, game mode. Right here with the game mode, connectivity, in my opinion, didn't change with the game mode. The quality of sound did enhance when it comes to things like footsteps and when you're playing shooting games. But if you're the average person, you're not really going to notice that. You could play Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, Diablo Immortal, any game that you want to in the regular mode, and it'll be perfectly fine with no breakups or anything like that. No lag latency when it comes to sound quality of throwing weapons and things. Like if your phone's a little bit laggy, then your phone's a little bit laggy. But as long as you have a device that can handle the game, the headphones themselves perform admirably, nearly perfect in that regard. You have the option for disable touch. For the people out there that don't want touch buttons on their headsets, you have the option to turn it off completely so you don't accidentally press any touches. I'm one of those people where I don't care for touch on the earbuds, but you do have the option to do that. And that brings me over to custom keys. So right here it says left side and right side, double click left, double click right, triple click left, triple click right, and then long press. These are all the options you have for changing. And if you tap each one, here are the options right here, from volume up all the way down to voice assistant. Same thing for the right ear. We're going to go ahead to the double clicks. Same thing for the most part. Everything is exactly the same. We're going to go to the triple clicks. This is the level of customization you have for each one. Let me just double check, make sure game mode is in there. Yep. So it looks like all the modes pretty much have the same exact level of customization in terms of features. You can just tap it the way that you prefer it to be, and that way you can get that full customized experience. And of course, you can always hit default if you want to change it back. Now, with that being said, I do want to say one more thing. When you switch between noise cancellation, normal mode, and transparency, it will actually, a female voice will speak so you know which one is which, so you won't be confused if you're not using the application itself. Always download the app. Now right here, if you click on the middle, we have the equalizer itself. Now it does have its own presets, of course. I'm just waiting for it to load. It does take a second for it to load, unfortunately, because my service isn't the greatest where I'm at, but here we go. I have mine on bass boost. The classic one is Soundpeats Classic, which isn't bad at all, but I think bass boost overall is the best equalizer setting if you don't do a custom EQ. So what we also have here is pop, electric, classical, rock, folk, book, whisper, ACG, interesting, hi-fi. So you could change it however you want. And of course you have the option for the good old custom EQ. You can save it the way that you want to and use it however you choose. And this will work for your music. It'll work for your gaming experience. It will work for whatever you do on your phone itself. Unfortunately, you can't get this level of customization on a PC or something like that. These headphones, like most headphones, are more so catered to actual phones and tablets that hold this application itself. But again, multipoint will work just fine. And as long as you have these settings preset, I believe they do carry over to whatever other Bluetooth device that you're using if you have it set in here. But outside of that, that's the level of customization that you actually get. And it's pretty good. I'm not mad at it at all. And lastly, at the bottom, because you see these three options at the bottom right here. I'm sorry, I clicked on that one. Here we go. You have the official web mall. I'm not sure where that is, probably the website. You do have a user guide. You have a contact us and online support. I'm using my email that I use for most of it right here, and it's very easy to sign into. And this is just basic, all the legal information that you see right here. But this is the full app customization, very similar to the other Soundpeats products that they pretty much have. And the fact that they didn't really change much is good because you don't really need more customization than this. This is pretty much enough for a headset. So we need to talk about the sound profile for this particular headset. I can honestly say I've been reviewing quite a few Soundpeats products that they've been sending, but nothing really compares to this one. And let me explain. So I want to talk about two different things. Number one, I am using a Motorola device that has Dolby Atmos. I turned that off when I did the initial review, and the bass quality for this headset is very, very high. The vocals sound pretty good. It's kind of like it feels like you're being washed over with the music. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain that, but let me just kind of break that down the best way that I can. Normally, when you listen to things like rock music or, I call it emo music, people like Juice WRLD or Justin Bieber or things like that, what happens is you hear a lot of different instruments in the background. Now, depending if the bass is too high with other headsets, you kind of miss the subtle instruments playing. With these particular Soundpeats, I hear everything. If it's a guitar, if it's a violin, if it's like extra vocals where they're humming lowly, everything meshes so well and it blends in very well. As a matter of fact, if you were to play these at 100%, which I don't suggest because you can hurt your eardrums, they're very loud, the music doesn't crackle. There's no issues. To be honest, we've reached a point with most of these companies where it's all about personal preference because most of the music experiences are very, very good. But this particular one, it just sounds like as I'm walking, I didn't even have ANC on, and I'm walking around, people were speaking, and I wasn't able to hear a word that they were saying. But we'll get to ANC in a little bit in a different section. Now, this is where it gets really, really special. Because I have Dolby Atmos, remember, we have iPhones, we have Samsung devices, we typically use the features that our phones have to enhance the headsets. With Dolby Atmos on with this particular headset, man, it felt like I was in a choir the way it was playing music. It's really, really good. It's very clean. Now, the only issue I will say that I had was occasionally one bud doesn't connect to the other where they're connected, and so the music will scatter just a little bit. All I had to do was just put the buds back inside the case and take them back out, and it pretty much solved that problem. But that was only initially when I first linked the headset to the actual phone. After that, it was clean selling. And man, it is crystal clear. So much so that obviously if you're a professional, you'll use professional headphones. But for me, I don't mind using FL Studio with these buds because if I decide to make a beat or I want to use multiple basses and combine it, this headset plays it the way I expect it to sound. So when I do decide to use my subwoofers connected to my computer, I get that exact sound that I expect without having to double check it that way. And when headphones are that good, where you can use them instead of over the heads for certain tasks, it's definitely worth the purchase. But like I said before, quality of music is phenomenal. You can change like the equalizer settings and things like that. But for the average person, I think whatever the main equalizer setting is initially, you'll be perfectly fine with that. But my suggestion is always to tinker with it because at the end of the day, all of us hear sounds differently. And we may want to hear, instruments a little bit better than what the headset pronounces. And it does have full customization, of course, in the app, which I already kind of showed you guys. So, you can go back over that part if you want to. But it's very, very, very good. You can tell that Soundpeats kind of looked at other companies and realized, what do they have that we don't? And it looks like they actually went from the ground up with their sound profiles. Because with the capsule versions that I got previously, they didn't sound as good as this one. The Air5 Pros sound very, very, very good. And I don't have anything bad to say about it. So it's really all about personal preference at this point. So all in all, if you're wondering if this headset is any good, I do apologize for the shaky cam. I kind of broke my tripod recorder thingy. I'll get another one. This does come with Bluetooth 5.4, codecs, SBC, AAC, LC3, LDAC, aptX, aptX, adaptive, and lossless codecs also. You have noise cancellation, transparency mode, you have a normal mode, you do have multipoint fast charging, provides up to 2 hours of playback. IPX5 touch controls, you can turn those off if you choose to, and you get a total of 37 hours of battery life. They're not bad headphones at all. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to show you guys a voice sample because it kept acting up on my computer when I was doing the edit. So I do plan on doing a comparison video to this and another Soundpeats product within the next week. So actually within the next couple days to be exact, and I'll show you the actual settings of the voice, but it's not bad at all. People can hear you clearly. My wife didn't have an issue whatsoever. And I can honestly say this is actually worth the asking price, and I like it a lot. So with that being said, you know, in terms of price tag, I already let you know what that is. You have in the description, you have a link to get to the product. My suggestion is to always check other products to see which one is better for you. But I do notice that we got to a point in headphones where certain sound profiles are unique. And so some people prefer Soundpeats, some people prefer Soundcore, some people prefer Apple. But always check around, because just because one brand is good doesn't mean it's the best. And I do think that Soundpeats is definitely a contender for making some really banger headphones. Like, I like these things a lot. I'll be rocking to all my rock music with this. But anyway, like and subscribe like always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care. Peace.